One problem with social networks like Yam or Chatter or Twitter or Facebook is that they're all linear and the conversation happens linearly, so you can't see how pieces fit together. And today we're going to see a new user interface that's trying to answer that. It's called Talkwheel, and we're seeing it right now. Who are you?
I'm Jeff Harris. I'm the CEO and founder of Talkwheel from Cleveland, Ohio. I've been around technology companies since I was 11 or 12, and we started a company called Talkwheel, as I just mentioned, and we moved out here about a year ago to bring it to Silicon Valley.
So what is Talkwheel?
Talkwheel is a real-time collaboration platform built around group discussion. So we believe at Talkwheel, the core of collaboration is actually the discussion. So a lot of these companies out there, they're building all these bells and whistles around the discussion model, but all have really neglected the actual discussion area. We say in the real world, when we're with a group of people, we don't stand in a line and try to talk to each other. We sit around a round table and try to create this circular dynamic to get everyone involved. So all the discussion models on the web, email, IM, forums, they're all formatted in a very static and linear manner. It's just one comment after the next. So people can see who's talking to whom, and the conversations usually end. One person leaves a comment and they never come back. So Talkwheel really trying to create this round table design to really capture the real world dynamic online.
Why did you start this? Because that's sort of interesting.
Yeah, so I've been really interested in the discussion area for years. So I've built many different prototypes. I initially created a site called iDebater, where the whole thing was to bring people online and help them debate issues. And as I was playing around with this idea, I really saw the issue was that people weren't really interacting with groups at high levels because there really wasn't a discussion model to facilitate this interaction. So that's when I started kind of forming, what's the most real world discussion dynamic is this round visual for groups of people. So we started evolving this round table further and further, and actually now we're releasing our first market version next week.
So the wheel itself can be oriented around time, so you can just see all conversations, or you can see a wheel for a specific conversation.
Exactly. Right? So you set your group for Talkwheel, so you can have multiple groups, but each wheel has its own specific group, and you can either filter the wheel by topics or time, and soon we'll also be doing it by users. So we always want to make the most relevant information to a user readily observable. We want to eliminate the annoyance, of searching through email or scrolling up and down forums to find information you care about. We just quickly want to show each user what they care about most.
How many people can be in a wheel?
Unlimited. So it can get a little cluster when you get hundreds and hundreds of users. So that's where these filters start coming into play. So you can always kind of filter the wheel down and show you what's most relevant to you.
Can you filter and just say who's talking to me?
Yes, so you can do that as well. Sure.
So if we're having a big conversation about, let's say, the Oscars, and
sure.
100 or in this case, 1 million people are all talking, you can filter it down. Just, hey, let's talk with this.
You can kind of see exactly. So you can also send private messages as well. So you can set private groups or public groups. And even in a private group or public group, you can send individual messages just to that individual person as well. So you can have even a personal conversation within a group of 10 people too. So.
Now, if it's something like sports or a hot topic, people are going crazy, right?
Yeah.
You see that on Twitter when
sure.
Somebody scores a goal in hockey or something.
Twitter
just goes, go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And what happens in a wheel when that happens?
Sure. So at Twitter, Twitter is a great site, but people are really talking at each other in Twitter. They're not really talking with each other. So at Talkwheel, we create this much more intimate environment where you set your group, who you want to see, who you care about. You can have these effective conversations. We also do offer the dynamic. If you still want to have the public conversation with larger groups, we still do offer that as well.
So in the goal,
sure.
if I say goal, yeah. I'm not really talking to anybody in particular. Does that show up as a line in the circle?
So you can create a topic. So the topics don't have lines. The topics is a top level comment. So the people that reply to that, those have the lines, so you can visually map out who's talking to that comment.
And you see the lines being drawn in real time as people comment or talk to each other.
Everything happens in Talkwheel is a complete real time. So the whole thing is you want to visually map out the conversation of who's talking to whom, as well as, it really helps the natural flow of a conversation. You can't see, we've done a lot of talking to a lot of online education specifically. The teachers say that students, they leave a comment, but they're not fully engaged because they can't follow the conversation of who's talking to whom. So that's kind of the visual, the concept of the arrows mapping out individuals' conversations.
What are you learning from the first users? Because you've been beta testing this with a company or something like that?
A few different enterprises, online education, also some social networks. So it's been great. We got great feedback across the board. We launched our first kind of version, I guess, in December, January. With the first kind of beta testers, and we took all the feedback we got from them then, and now this is kind of our first really market version that we're going off and selling it. So we sell it to enterprises, online education, social networks, and we also do have our own standalone social kind of site where the everyday user can kind of talk with their friends and family too.
But what are you learning? Are they spending more time in the conversation? Are they writing more messages back and forth?
Yeah, it's much more effective. So people spend a lot more time. You see them much more engaged. You're getting a lot more useful feedback. So I'm in conversations I have with my friends and family. One individual, he ended up going to DC, and we had a conversation with my family, and he saw that my brother lives in DC, and they're talking about it. They ended up getting dinner together, and same thing happened. My father was here, and he would have known my father was here because they were having a conversation about it. So they ended up getting together with my father and my brother, who hasn't seen in years. So.
What are managers able to do? Are they able to see everybody's conversation and study who are the hot spokes in the wheel, for instance?
Yeah, exactly. So it's great we use it internally all the time for project managing. So we have a weekly kind of Talkwheel session that we follow the entire flow of the conversation, different topics going on in the company, different things we're working on. So it's great. We also have this analytical package that we're using, which does real-time analytics and all the information shared. So you can get sentiment analysis, what users like, what they don't like about different issues going on in the week. So it's very helpful for HR too, as well as, companies are also using this to engage their customers on different focus groups. So you can, get a really good deep insight of what your employees or customers feel like on different issues and topics.
Can I post a video or a photo into a wheel?
Yep, you can embed or integrate, upload any photo, any file, any document, and all of it happens in real time. We've tested it against Gmail, and upload speeds are actually 2 to 4 times faster than even Gmail, which is extremely fast.
Can you see when people actually watch the video? So does an arrow get drawn to them as they actually view the content, the slide deck or the video?
Sure. So all new comments show up in Talkwheel as it shows up as a Talkwheel logo. So if you leave the conversation and come back, all the comments you haven't read since last time you left with a Talkwheel logo. So when I come back, I can see where the new comments are very quickly, and I click it once, and then it turns to red comments. So.
I wasn't quite asking that. Can I see when you are actually watching a video that I posted?
We don't have that. But okay. It's a good feature. So
cool.
We have a roadmap, all these features we want to build. So we'll throw that one on the list too. So yeah, that'd be cool to have.
Very cool.
So all YouTube videos, everything opens up within Talkwheel. So we don't want you jumping back and forth between all these pages. Everything opens up within Talkwheel, pictures, videos, websites, and everything. So.
Very cool. Does it work on iPhones, iPads?
So we've started developing that already. We're releasing our iPhone and Android apps in June. So. A few weeks. So.
Very cool. Tell me a little bit about the company. How is it funded and who's involved?
Sure. So there's 6 of us right now, full-time employees. We also have 4 or 5 right now, people working on different contracts with iPhone, Android. So I started it a couple of years ago. As I mentioned, a site called iDebata, raised a little friends and family money. That didn't really work out because I was concentrating on trying to build a social site instead of the discussion model, which I mentioned before. That's where we think the really big play is. Yeah. So I took kind of what I learned from that and started building this more discussion platform that can be embedded in already established communities. So we raised a little friends and family money. I ended up coming out here. We raised some little institutional money, so we raised about $500K so far altogether. And we're actually going to start a new round of financing this summer. So
very cool. Yeah. Anything else I need to know about it? Is there an API so I can hook into it?
So yes, we do have an API. We haven't publicly launched that yet, so we've been building an API for iPhone and Android stuff, and we have some of our partnerships as well hooking up to the data. We have been using the API. So.
Very cool. Yeah. And where do I learn more about it?
Talkwheel.com, so we have our site. So everyday use, if you want to try it with your friends and family, you can do it there. If you're an enterprise or an online education, you can do a private instance. We can do it on-premise or on the cloud, and real-time analytics. We offer a lot more features to businesses and a lot more security too.
So and that's your business model for charging businesses. It's free for everybody else?
It's free for the everyday consumer, basic core product, yeah. I mean, we integrate our products, so for businesses, we can do a very flexible business model. We really want to get our product out there to the mass users right now. So we can do a per user basis, kind of like Yammer or Chatter, as you mentioned, a storage basis, just all out site license. We're doing a lot of co-selling with companies. So a lot of companies in healthcare, they have great products, but everyone's neglected the discussion area. We can embed our discussion model right into their product, and we co-sell it. So we do revenue shares that way as well. It's a pretty flexible business model, trying to work within the framework or whatever people have already.
Very cool. Can you take me through the wheel and tell me what it looks like to a beginner, how it actually works?
Yeah, sure. So we wanted to make Talkwheel very, very viral. So when you create a wheel, you can invite users that are registered or unregistered. So if I invite an unregistered user, all they have to do is click accept. We automatically register them. They just type one password and they're automatically into Talkwheel. So when they first come to Talkwheel, you see everyone in the conversation that's partaking in the conversation. You see all the comments from the user around the wheel. So you can quickly see who's partaking in the conversation and who's the most active. When you start hovering over comments in the wheel, it shows you the first part of the comment. So you can actually follow the entire conversation just by hovering over different comments in the wheel. So we want to eliminate, scrolling up and down forums. When you find a comment that you're interested in, you just double click on the comment in the wheel and it pops up the editor right there. So you don't even need to go to the forum side. Eventually you want to just completely get rid of the whole right side of the screen and just use this visual wheel, which is, we're getting great feedback. We've even had enterprises already say they just want to use just the wheel. They don't even want the forum anymore. So people, you get more and more comfortable using this wheel, which is, we keep the forum there now just so people get comfortable using this new technology. But eventually we want this all entire conversation happening on the wheel. So you can see who's live. We have green check marks by live users, so you can see who's currently live in the conversation. Everything happens in complete real time. We can, come back and you quickly see, where the new comments have been made.
Is there a rating system?
So we have analytics. So analytics right now is concentrating strictly on sentiment analysis. So you can see what people like and what they don't like about different issues. Also summary, so you can do a quick summary. So if there's I leave for a week, I come back, I can get a quick summary of everything that's been shared, very quick catch up. We don't have an exact rating system yet, like thumbs up, thumbs down, but that's kind of where the analytics kind of come into play. So we're going to eventually, we really want to evolve analytics a lot. It's a very hot area for enterprises right now. So we really want to start building up real-time analytics even more so, and we're obviously rating systems and looking into more stuff like that. So.
Very cool. Do you have leaderboards or anything like that are going to evolve so that the boss can say, hey, you're really adding a lot of value onto the Talkwheel?
Yeah, that's the whole thing with analytics. So as we keep building up analytics more and more, we really want to start making it more fun, more visual, and having visual representation of showing user relationships, showing who's talking to who, and how much they're partaking in the course of the week. All that information.
Are you adding any gamification features where people are competing against each other to try to get more people to put more time into the Talkwheel?
Sure, it's funny. So a lot of our business, we're integrating already established products. So just today, we talked to a healthcare company where they create games around users, essentially, for trying to help employees lose weight and different things like that. So we work with companies like that who have gaming systems, and we basically provide them the discussion model to facilitate that at higher levels. So we basically work with companies that have gaming systems or other things like that, and we basically just provide them this discussion platform, which just allows the users and groups to interact at very high levels with each other.
Can I have different kinds of groups? Like, can I have a private group and a public group?
Yeah, so exactly. So in your social life, things could be more maybe public with your friends and family. But in business, you can have like 6 or 7 private, a group of just 6 or 7 people where, you're working on a project, you're sharing information that you don't want your bosses to see, you don't want everyone else in the network to see. They don't even know it exists. And you can have a public network with your entire business when you talk about issues going on in the company for the week as well. So you have the ability to have private issues and public issues, topics, as well as you can send private messages to one person as well in public groups or private groups. So if my friends and family, groups I use it for my social life, I have, my friends from back home, I have my friends from college, I have my family, and we have these all private networks, and sometimes I have a public group with my entire network of people that I know as well. So kind of having both dynamics and being able to easily jump back and forth between all the groups. So all my groups that I'm partaking conversations in are all happen in this one interface. So I can quickly jump between all my different groups, in matters of seconds. So I'm not scrolling back and forth or hitting the backspace trying to follow my groups. So all of my one interface, quickly jumping back and forth, each one opening a different wheel. Very
cool. Where do we learn more about it?
Yeah, so go to talkwheel.com. As I mentioned before, you can set up, try it out for yourself, as well as for businesses, enterprises, social networks, e-learning. You can set up your own private Talkwheel as well by contacting us. So
very cool. And are you guys on Facebook and Twitter?
Yeah, we're on Facebook and Twitter both. So join, follow us, like us, and yeah, definitely. We send updates all the time there. So
very cool. Well, thanks for coming out and showing it to me.